welcome to Cold Outreach Success Stories, where we interview regular business people just like you who've had a lot of success with cold outreach on email and other channels. We go deep into their process with hot tips around targeting, messaging, and personalization so that you can take away some tips to implement in your cold outreach starting tomorrow. Hello. Hey, Arthur. How's it going?
Hey, hi, Saraf.
So what I wanted to do on this call was just, understand your usage in a little bit more detail, but not just with Salesrobot. What I wanted to do on this call was to understand just a little bit more around how you think about customer acquisition in general, like new customer acquisition. How do you think through that? What are the tools you use, not just Senzilla or Salesrobot? So just a brief overview would do around how you approach new customer acquisition.
Okay. Well, just first of all, I'm not a sales guy, so I'm not a marketing guy, not a sales guy. Mm-hmm. I'm an owner of two companies, and I use your platform to build report, or what we call it in LinkedIn. So I'm not sure if I'm the right person to give you advice on how I do your marketing. So as you might recall, I work closely with ICQ, with Dominic Dennison. Mm-hmm. Maybe you recall him.
Yeah.
So I can only state on what he's doing, but you should ask him. So he's also using other channels than besides Salesrobot than what I'm doing. So I took this call and took this opportunity to learn more from you, because I'm only using LinkedIn. Mm-hmm. And my observation is that LinkedIn isn't giving me the response anymore as it did 1 year ago.
Right.
So I'm not sure if it's just me or if it's something you see as well. And I also saw in addition that you can also get into mails. So maybe do a mix. I don't know how that works. So my intention was to learn from you what your thoughts are and how you think I should continue. For me personally, I think so. Since we began, I began 2.5 years ago with then it was still called Senzilla.
Yeah.
I think we were pretty new. It wasn't used very often, but now in LinkedIn, I recognize the sequence, right? So there's some other
yeah.
tools. Maybe it's even your tool. I don't know.
Yeah.
But you see that those are inexperienced. I don't like to respond to them at all. So I try to make my messages as personal. So it will not be as personal as when I type it myself, but it's next to. I think it's 95% personal. Have it short. So, but still, persons don't respond anymore that often. They just leave it go. So I think LinkedIn is I don't know. I'm afraid LinkedIn will not give me anymore what it did. So I'm also looking for other ways to get to my audience. So mail is one thing, but of course I also get mails from persons I don't know, and I don't like it, to be honest.
Yeah.
You do have to know the person a little bit. So like you, so I already know you. So that's why I read the sequence. So I don't have the answers, to be honest. So right. I'm still looking for. So I think it's a bit of everything. So being present, being on the platforms your customers are. So I can tell you a little bit of story on my other company. So I've got two companies. One is partnering with ICQ. The other one is so I'm not using Senzilla for that yet, because I'm not the sole owner, so I'm a shared owner. The other owner says no, he prefers personal contact, so he does a lot via LinkedIn. And he laughs at me when I use Senzilla. He said, no, Arthur, there's way too automated. I want to have a personal note to the person. But so he is very good at it because he is known in the field. So the persons know him. He does lectures. He's been around for 25 years in the industry. So we target at the Netherlands, which is a small country. So most of the persons know him by name. So that's an advantage. So that's why he gets traction more than I do. Which is fine because it helps because we share the same company. So I'm fine with that. But I can't copy the same to my other company because I'm not a thought leader in the IC-Cube stuff. So persons don't know me and it's difficult. So those are my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree with you. Like LinkedIn has definitely become more saturated, and I can assure you, it's not just our tool, but a bunch of tools similar to ours. That
I guess so.
Yeah, people are using. So it's like that human brain response, right? There's like subconscious learning happening in everyone's brain, right? Because whenever you get a message, you feel like, hey, this probably looks like something somebody has put me in a sequence, right? Like you definitely are able to, like, even without fully reading the message, you are able to sense like, hey, this is a sequence message, or this is an automated message.
Somehow you do.
Yeah, somehow you do. It's like the human reflex action, right? Like whenever you touch like a boiling pot of water or something, you just take your hand away, right? Almost like that without thinking. So we've noticed that for sure. And that's one of the reasons why I was going out talking to people, just to see what they are seeing, and share a little bit more about the improvements we've made to sort of counter this. Because um, in any channel, there's this old quote, right? Like I really like this quote, like marketers ruin everything, right? Like any good thing, marketers will get there and ruin it. Right? So I think that's what happened. That's what's happening to LinkedIn now, that everyone is marketing themselves, and that's why the whole channel is
I think LinkedIn is getting worse and worse. Today I noticed, so I think it's for 2 days now, because I'm not daily on LinkedIn for me personally, but so I wanted to post something, and now there's an AI module active. And what will happen is, and I already was using ChatGPT to create some posts, so it's 90% rough by ChatGPT, and the last 10% I do it myself. So I blend it, I reiterate a couple of times to have a post which is in my words. But I think everyone is doing that. And I think maybe it's a couple of months or maybe a year that artificial intelligence just creates your post based on what you did in the past. And when that happens, I think nobody will read the post anymore.
Because it's like a tsunami.
So it's a little bit frightening. So what happens? LinkedIn is a very good source for leads for me. But when persons and people don't go to LinkedIn anymore because it's not interesting, then so I see some developments and I don't have the answers. I see them. So AI, which is a good thing, but what will happen is persons will read through. I recognize the AI as it is now. So probably in a month's time, I won't recognize it anymore. And then you get trained, as you say, you get into a recognition pattern. And it's definitely the same with the sequences. So maybe Senzilla with some AI that it can train on your text. Maybe that can help, but once you have implemented it, maybe it can only last for a year or half a year. I don't know. It's going so fast.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Let me quickly show you some of the things that we have implemented. I think maybe some of this would be interesting, maybe not, but this is something we've experimented with. Can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
Yeah. So this is a conversation that I had. So this is actually a sequence, right? So I reached out to this person and said something like, saw that you're hiring salespeople, might be interested in LinkedIn automation. He didn't respond to that. Another follow-up, he didn't respond to that. Then I just asked, am I off base here? Like, is this not relevant? Basically, that's what I'm asking for. Then in this message, what our AI did was, it's an image-based personalization AI. So it's basically pulled in his name and wrote it on this coffee cup, like you do at Starbucks, right? So it just did that. So it was like a funny.
And now he responded.
Yeah, now he responded. He said, one of the most excellent personalization I've seen in a while. Now isn't a good time. Let's connect next week. We can decide a time over the weekend. So 3 messages, no response, and then finally, this coffee cup.
Yeah.
It's like, your name gets announced at Starbucks, like Arthur, like if your coffee's here, and then you're paying attention. So what I've really realized, this is one example. The other is, more of text-based AI, which we have as well in the product, which is, personalizing to each person. What I mean by that is, let me show you one example of that. So if you look at this conversation I had with this person here, reached out to him based on his profile, right? So what our tool is able to do is able to read Patrick's profile and see who has recommended this person, right?
I know. So these were those. These are standard in Salesrobot.
Yeah, these are standard in Salesrobot, like recommendations, volunteer work, stuff like that. But we are coming up with a new version which is non-standard, which is based on analyzing this person's about page. Like for example, he has written some details here in his about page and his recent posts, or some of his his journey, or maybe some news. So we are working on a new version which is more advanced, but for now we have this kind of personalization based on recommendations and volunteer work. So I mean, one of the things, and obviously the language, right? Based on language, you can say hello in like Finnish rather than just English.
I'm a little bit afraid for that, because I don't speak these. I don't speak these languages. German is okay, but Finnish, no.
Yeah. No, just saying hi in Finnish. So what I'm saying is, it's just ideas at this point. But what I've realized is, you just need to stand out. It's like, it's the sea of the same color. And, if you're a different color, you're a brighter color or a weird color.
What I'm learning from you, and I've learned from you, is the shorter, the better.
Yes, the shorter, the better for sure. That's something which has always been true and continues to be even more true. But I think in addition to being short, you also have to be personalized, right? So it doesn't feel like this short message was written to 100 people, right? It should only be written to you. So that's where that's what I'm seeing. That's what I'm seeing more and more of. It has to be short, relevant, maybe funny, if that's one way of standing
it's difficult.
out.
It depends on your audience. For marketing persons, I think you can be funny. I'm targeting more developers and those, well, that have a specific sense of humor.
Yeah. Yeah. So which is definitely difficult. But these are just the few ideas that I've seen work, right? Like if you want to get more responses, you just have to stand out. Otherwise, you just seem the same.
So what are your, because this has been around for about 2 years now, I think, because I saw the cup, I experimented with it. It's the add-on. I forgot the name. I did a trial. It was really nice. So to have those personalized pictures with some text on it. But it feels so. What is your experience with mail? Because you have been mailing me for this meeting, right?
Right. With mail, it can be tricky. It works to some degree, but it's also very challenging, because for mail, the biggest issue is actually landing in spam, right? Because with LinkedIn, it's just one inbox, but in mail, there are multiple inboxes, right? Like there's your main inbox, then there's the promotions tab, and then there's spam. So the whole problem with mail is that you land in spam. So we are working on some updates to improve that, right? And make sure that your emails are actually much more likely to land in the primary inbox. But yeah, it works. It works to some degree. It's just that it can be challenging because there's an added layer of complexity there with the spam filtering.
Okay, so I think so. You set out a goal for this meeting. That's also for you to learn what way to grow in with Salesrobot.
Yeah. For me, you just to catch up and see what you're thinking.
What could be, because you already added a lot of stuff in addition. So what could be your advice to me to improve sequences, or to get more response? So you did some best practices in the past in videos. I like those. do you have more of these? Because I think, as I said, so I see things changing. So with LinkedIn, the number of mails you can send change. So I'm really on the safe zone. So it goes really slow. So what is very good, I have a lot of connections right now. So over the years, I'm now at 1,500, which is a lot for me. But I still don't get very much response. I don't care so much. I've got one client from Senzilla, and that client has brought me 20K, so it's fine.
Yeah.
Right. So it's a lot. All costs are covered. But I would like to have more of these.
Yeah. I think I have a couple of advice. One is obviously what I talked about in terms of the personalization with like the images and the text. That's one. The other interesting thing is, what are you trying to get a response to? So for example, if you're trying to ask somebody for a meeting or for a 30-minute meeting, then it's more challenging because they don't know you. So we've been experimenting more recently is more of a marketing led approach, where what we do is, let's say we wrote a very good ebook around best practices of LinkedIn selling. So what we do is we reach out and we just ask them, do you mind if I send over a copy of this ebook to you? This might be relevant if you're trying to generate leads on LinkedIn. So that positions me as so for example, to that they can reply, yes, send it over, right? So that one starts the conversation, and two positions me as an authority in this space, right? Like I know what I'm talking about because we wrote an ebook and it has some good elements. So whatever you can do for example, the embedded analytics area, which is where you work, if you have some good marketing content, you can look at Senzilla or Salesrobot as a distribution mechanism for that content, which also starts the conversation. This thing we've seen some success with. The other thing we've seen some success with is LinkedIn webinars, right? Events on LinkedIn. So rather than talking to people one-on-one, what we do is we just say, hey, we are running this webinar where we talk about the best practices on LinkedIn lead generation, and it's completely free. We're not asking anything. This is the link. Would you mind signing up? So with that, if it's a group thing, right? The last webinar we did, the major success one, we had over 3,000 people sign up and over 400 people actually showed up. So that was a big event for us.
That's a big event.
Yeah, yeah, that was a big one. But this was back 1 year ago. Like lately, we've not been that successful. Like the last one had 50 attendees. But yeah, this is something we've seen success with.
Yeah, so this is good tip. So target a little bit lower. So not right away a webinar.
Yeah.
But so they did so in the past. But maybe an ebook. That's I already have some ebooks. So it's fine. I can just tweak the sequence. And when you ask and they say yes, well, there's a chance of them reading the ebook, and then they know you. So if you introduce yourself in the ebook, they know you, and then you can tag the person, and then in a couple of months later, you can target them again.
Absolutely, that's exactly what I'm talking about. And the other option is you should think of your network that you're creating on with Salesrobot as a forever on network. So we have some features where it automatically wishes someone a happy birthday, or if someone changes jobs, it just congratulates them.
Yeah, it's on. So I think that's I get responses to those, which is great. I don't know the person. I just a happy birthday and say thank you, and then I see all my sequences on top of my conversation on which they didn't respond. So it's funny.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, that's the thing, right? Like with outbound, with cold outreach, they don't know you. So the best thing is, it's like walking up to a stranger and asking them, for like
you ask too much.
Yeah, you ask
maybe
too
you
much.
just want to ask for a smoke. I don't smoke, but well, you can ask a stranger for a cigarette or for a lighter.
Exactly. So it's the amount of ask that you're doing without knowing them.
True.
Right? So that's what we've seen and experimented with to get some more success by not asking a lot, right? By just trying to educate maybe instead of asking for. Like the other thing we've seen success with is surveys, right? So we say, hey, I'm running this quick survey on the best practices around LinkedIn lead generation. Do you mind if I quickly send it over? Like I'm going to share the results of the survey with you and maybe help you if you need help, with LinkedIn lead generation. So just think about these things, right? Like eBooks, surveys, any kind of marketing collateral you have, which positions you as an authority, and use that to distribute content to the right people, right? Using Salesrobot, and start a conversation.
Good, thank you. Those are valuable tips.
No worries, no worries. We found some of them after experimenting and failing a ton of times. So some of these work right now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I need to experiment myself as well. So I made notes. So thank you very much. Anything else we can discuss?
No, Arthur, I think that's it. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much also for your time, Saraf, and I wish you a good night and a good working night.
Thank you so much, Arthur.
Okay, goodbye.
Take care. Bye. So that's all the time we have, folks. I really enjoyed the episode. I hope you did too. Please subscribe, like, share, comment, whatever you can to spread the word out about cold outreach success stories so more people can enjoy and learn from the show. All right, that's all, folks. Bye-bye.